Hello dear apprentice and welcome to the studio. I'm excited to share with you today how we're going to create a ritual tool by using a candle. But before we get into all of that, let's get this flame of peace, hope and love for 2026 going. And there we have it, may all beings benefit. Right. Okay, so today I'm excited to share with you how you can anoint a candle and really assign it a purpose. And that is what makes candle magic so beautiful, very personal and very effective. So I'm going to be showing you that today. But I want to know, did you guys enjoy our acrylic painting ritual of yesterday? I really enjoyed this session, and the painting is in the front of my home. Because it really became a symbol that I can use as an artifact in my home that's always emitting that beautiful positive frequency and reminds me of my own personal yellow gate of empowerment. I really hope that you guys have experienced the same. So remember, you've got a few days to work on that painting. Please don't feel under any pressure that it must be done by now. But I do encourage you, don't make your paintings too big during this wonderful 7-week journey. Stick to a certain size. I mean, obviously, be my guest and go as big as you need to go. This is your journey. But just to sort of stay in the flow of the experience of the next 7 weeks, I want to encourage you to work in a format that's maybe a little bit smaller, that allows you to finish the task and the prompt, on time, so that you don't, feel like you are losing momentum with the 7-week process. Because I really want you to experience the whole season as a collected and intended energetic program. And then you can always return to these prompts, and you can return to these paintings, especially the ones that really spoke to you, really opened up something in you, and then you can transfer that and make that a bigger piece, or really lean into that and see where that will take you as far as your own personal style and vision is concerned, right? So for today, we're going to be playing with our candles. I'm just going to show you a very simple white candle. It's almost like a dinner candle, maybe not a dinner candle. This will burn a little bit faster, but a quick dinner. But in our case, this is going to be our ritual tool that we are going to be using today. So I've just got here a board to roll with the herbs. So you're going to need a tray or a plate or a surface to work on in order to create your ritual candle. You can then select whatever herbs you have dried and in your pantry that you want to work with and that you resonate with its sort of function and so forth. So I'm going to make a peace candle for the world today. That's what I'm going to be showing you. And for this peace candle, you can use a blue candle, or you can always use a white candle. A white candle will replace any color that you don't have that you need in the moment. So if you see that you want to create a spell or use a specific candle for your prayers, then if you don't have that color, then you can replace it with a white candle. Right, so I'm going to use a white candle. I've got here lavender from my own garden that I like to harvest, and I really packed it in here, and then obviously dry it before you store it, because you don't want things to go moldy. And then I've also got here chamomile, and I think the chamomile and the lavender combination is going to be beautiful for my peace candle today, as there's lots of frequencies and alignments in these beautiful herbs with the intention that I'm setting. And then I've got my own anointing oil. Now, what is an anointing oil? You can create your own oil with aromatherapy oils, or if you find a pre-mixed mixture from pure essential oils at the stores that you really love, that becomes your favorite, You can use that as your anointing oil, or you can just use plain old olive oil from your kitchen in order to anoint your candle. Then I've also got here a little bit of black salt. The main reason I want the black salt here is because there's charcoal in here, and I want to show you when we etch our candle how you can make that stand out a little bit more if you would so like, if you would so prefer. Otherwise, this is not an essential step, but I'm going to show you anyway. I'm just going to put these things aside so that they are off my board. And then I've just got my usual candle paraphernalia here. I encourage people to snuff your candles rather than blowing them out. There's a lot of beliefs out there. Some systems will say you absolutely must never blow out a candle, and some other belief systems say you must go ahead and blow out the candle. I personally feel lean into your own guidance as far as that is concerned. If I use my candle magic with a bigger candle that is burning for the duration of its life over maybe the whole month, I will light it in the evening and just refocus on that intention that I've originally set the candle for. I don't blow those candles out. I will snuff them. And snuffing is just, a closure of the session. You are not expelling and removing the energy from your candle. But when I do a banishing kind of spell and getting rid of negative energy and stuff that is no longer serving me, when I'm done with that spell and done with that candle, I will blow it out. And then it's with intention to absolutely expel and banish and end the energetic, sequence that I might be addressing in that session. So that's just sort of my take on snuffing or blowing out the candle. And I got this beautiful kit of Timu. Once again, it shouldn't surprise you, but it's beautiful quality, and I use it to trim the wicks and there's a little fixer scratcher or to pick your wick out of a wet wax. That's always helpful tools to have around you. So it can be pretty, it can be very decorative. You can go online and find your own little set that you like, but it's not essential. It's just aesthetic. You don't need any of these tools. You really just need your intention. But I like to show what is possible, and all of these elements can add some fun, creativity, and a playful, curious attitude towards your spell work. Right, so for today's session, let's start with our etching, and for that you're just going to need like a toothpick or a little stick or something sharp that you can etch into the candle with. So there's a few ways that you can anoint your candle and sort of assign a specific purpose to the burning of that candle. If I have a bigger candle, I like to sort of write a rune image symbol on a piece of paper and place it underneath my candle with some of my herbs that I like to use for that spell. And that way it's always sort of, emitting that frequency and working off that frequency. But in a smaller candle like this, and even those smaller ritual ones, I like to just etch it into the wax. Okay. So intentionally, this is a peace candle for the world today, and I am going to just etch a symbol for peace, and I'm going to just etch in here world peace, just to really anchor in that frequency of peace and harmony for the world. Right. And then you can just go ahead and just wipe the excess wax that's come off into your dustbin. Right, the next step is going to be to anoint your candle with some oil. Now I like to just put some of my oil in my hand. You don't need a lot. You don't need to baptize it. You just want a sticky surface for the other herbs to stick to it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to anoint this candle with my oil. And while I'm doing this, I'm visualizing the intention of this candle, and I'm really just aligning with frequency and really just feeling what it is that I want to bring into the world here. Right, and when you are ready, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this black salt powder on here. And this can then also serve as protection at the same time to protect my spell. I'm just going to rub it into those engravements. I don't think there's enough charcoal in this particular black salt jar of mine. There we go. There we go. So that should come out a little bit more. Beautiful. Now you ought to see world peace on my two symbols. Just use a brush to clean this, maybe a softer brush. There we go. Exciting. Now, I think we need a little bit more oil here. It feels a little bit dry. Oh, it smells so nice. The whole room is now filling with this beautiful serenity mix of mine. And again, this will also help for my candle, because even the oil mix is all about peace and serenity and harmony. So I'm focusing here on the bottom half of my candle, but really you can do whatever you like, whatever speaks to you. So now I'm just going to dust a little bit of my herbs here. This is chamomile. So chamomile is a beautiful herb to use for just enhancing peace and harmony, and also for abundance. And it's also a deeply healing herb, so I'm really asking for healing between the nations of the world. And I'm going to add lavender. Lavender has a very powerful frequency. Don't ever underestimate the power of lavender. So it is a very peaceful, beautiful, calming herb, but it brings us present to the here and the now, to reality. It's a very grounding, kind of peaceful aroma that I find, but it also opens the third eye. It opens our crown, and this really for me is that enlightenment, that awakening to recognize that peace is possible because it's already here. We just don't want to engage with peace because it sounds boring or it sounds not profitable. I don't know what the reason is why the world is in constant conflict. I do believe, however, it is because they are in conflict with themselves. The world is but a mirror of our inner state. So it goes to say that if we want world peace, we must cultivate more peace within our hearts, within our mindset, and within our sort of approach and resilience to dealing with conflict, dealing with challenging situations, and also maintaining a sovereignty in healthy boundaries and so forth. So I do understand, there can be a strong stance, but it doesn't have to be needless life-shedding violence. That is what I'm trying to create, another timeline for, another possibility. And I want to empower it by using my candle so that there is a continuum of prayer for peace in our world as long as the candle burns. Then when you are ready, you can just go ahead and roll your candle in your herbs. And this is where you will use your plate or your tray. And this will really crush your herbs, and also the oil will help it to adhere to the candle. And when the flame burns, this beautiful effect of the herbs will also become part of the process. It's really a lot of fun to play with herbs, and another way to express your creativity in creative, practical magic. These are small ritual objects and ways that you can increase your sovereignty in your life and really just remind yourself that you are not a victim to anything, and life doesn't happen to us. It happens through us. So the minute when you recognize that this is no different to writing an intention or speaking an affirmation, wishing somebody a happy birthday, giving a gift on Christmas, all of these things stem from our ancient culture where wise people once understood that we can affect our timeline and we can affect our reality by making sure that our intention, our energy, and our tools are in alignment as we step forward into a new future, and we hold that frequency until it stabilizes. So this is really all that this is all about. So I will then go ahead and put this candle in a beautiful candle holder, and then I will activate it with intention by lighting my candle and spending a few minutes with my candle. Just observe the flame, especially if you are in a room where there is no air flowing. And really the flame will also begin to talk to you. Is the flame, struggling to stay alive? Then it shows that there's not enough energy in your spell. You need to really amplify your energy. Something's out of alignment. If there's like a flickering candle, it also shows there's a lot of activity. If it burns tall and strong and steady, it shows that there's beautiful energy available. There is plenty of ways to really read your flames. So, I have to do a little bit more research and in-depth experience with reading your flame. But you can lean into your own intuition to understand what is happening. So obviously if you're going to add oil or any herbs to the wick side, and some herbs might react to the flame later, you might hear crackling, you might hear snapping sounds, you might see sparks. So we're going to talk tomorrow on our live call and our mentorship circle about safety. We're going to talk about just fire safety and making sure that with whatever you do with your fire, that it's always safe, attended, and you never leave a candle burning in a room where there's no one attending to it. So I just want you guys to be safe always, first and foremost. But then we'll also talk about some candle magic, why it works, and I will share with you a little bit more information. Today's session, I really just wanted to show you how you can anoint a candle and dress it with your herbs and get it ready for a session and use it alongside your intention. So I'll see you guys tomorrow during the live call. And if you miss it, that's okay. You know, life happens, but that's why it gets recorded, so that you can always watch it a little bit later and stay in the loop with what we discussed and shared. So I will see you guys tomorrow during that session. Thanks for tuning in. Be kind to yourself, be true to yourself. Bye bye for now.